Okay guys, so I have my mom here. She's waiting in the living room. I'm super excited. And as a late Mother's Day gift, I got her tickets to Eshetu, to like all Habesha moms out there who watch. She watches this man religiously. Eshetu, if you're watching, she absolutely loves you. I got her tickets to his show in DC. He's coming today. So I have the tickets right here. So I'm gonna surprise her with front row seats to go see Eshetu. Come with me. All right, let's go. All right, how do I, hold up. Okay. Hey, mommy. Okay, hold on, let me change the, hold on. 1 second.
You want to surprise our.
Okay, so I told you to come over.
Okay.
So you remember Mother's Day was just like couple weeks ago? And so I told you I was gonna get you a gift. We took you to dinner, but I was gonna get you a gift. So I'm just gonna pass you, should I pass you my phone or should I just tell you? Which one should I do? So who's the one person that you watch on YouTube like every day, all day? This is all you watch is this guy.
Okay.
Who is it? It's your number one on YouTube. You watch this guy every day.
One YouTuber?
Oh.
Eshetu.
So he's coming to DC tonight. So I got you tickets to his show. We're gonna go see him. All right, guys, we are here with another episode. You might have noticed that this episode opened up a little bit differently this time. We did a quick little vlog, as well as if you guys just saw this episode, I do recommend that you listen or watch it on YouTube. You go to the visual episode on our YouTube. That's YouTube.com/firstiespod. Because with this one, I was able to surprise my mom with her dream guest or her dream YouTuber, which is Eshetu. So Eshetu came to DC last week. Was it last week? Guys, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know the day, the times. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Anyways, he came to DC and Mother's Day was around the corner, and so as a late Mother's Day gift, I got my mom tickets to Eshetu. She absolutely loved it. It was such a dream just to see her get so excited to see him. Great show, by the way. But I wanted to film her surprise, which was what you guys just saw. It was very sweet and wholesome. We had a great time, so I definitely want to talk about the details of that day. And then we will get into also discussing something that I learned from the show. It was a pretty great show. So let's jump right in. Also, as always, please make sure you follow Firstie's Pod. That's Firstie's Pod on all platforms to get the short clips, behind the scenes, and we definitely comment back and forth, and you get more engagement with us from the TikTok and Instagram reels. So let's talk about Eshetu. So his show was amazing. He was hilarious. For anyone who doesn't know, he is a YouTuber that's based out in Ethiopia. I don't know exactly where. And he's pretty like, 2 million plus subscribers, and he's been doing it forever. And really his whole kind of message, and also what his motivation is giving back to the community. And the amazing thing was that with his show in DC, it was in partnership and to bring more awareness to the Wagana Ethiopian Foundation, which essentially helps the less fortunate with housing, education, and I really fell in love with it and loved it and hope to work with them one day, because there's these people who have very less, kind of get the short end of the stick, whether it's, being orphaned, or, they don't have family, or they don't have the proper resources to get the best education possible. And that might, there's people out there who are very, very talented, but they just don't have the resources to show that they are. And so I love that this Wagana Ethiopian Foundation kind of sheds light on that and also gives back. And it was so cool to see like the graduation class of the people, the kids and people that were sponsored by this foundation. So it was a great event. It looked like it was sold out. Truly, I was like, wow, it's like going to church. It's like all these Hobby Shop people. It was great. We bumped into some family as well, which I knew that was going to happen, of course. Literally related to every single Hobby Shop person in DC and Maryland and Virginia. So there's that. But the one thing I noticed is that when he was doing his show, when he walked out, you have to keep in mind that this person is really big back home and also in the States, right? That's a great thing about social media is that you can reach literally anyone, which is amazing. But for him to basically sell out Warner Theater, which is a major theater in DC, and there's a thing that happens when it comes to creators, especially Black and brown creators, where you have to cross over. Chris Rock talks about this, and I think he talked about it in the Rolling Stone or Hollywood Reporter magazine, but he essentially said that minority creators or actors or actresses, there's a point where they have to cross over, meaning first they make sure that their peoples mess with them, their peoples love them, and then there's a point where they cross over to mainstream, and then that's when the general population kind of gets to know them really and falls in love with them. And so when Eshetu walked out, everyone's on their feet. Everyone is screaming. It was really a sight to see. It's really exciting. I also love watching people watch entertainers. I also think it's part of the show. Like, wow, everyone is laughing at the same exact person, at the same exact thing, the same exact time. And I think that's like bonds us in a way. That's why, if you guys don't know already, after like the 30 something episode, what episode are we? Like the 30 something episode, that I love comedy for that reason. But anywho, so he walks out and everyone is screaming and clapping, and he just throws his hands up and looks to the ceiling. And I think he had a moment with God. And I thought that was really a sight to see, because it reminds us that whatever we're going through, or at least I believe whatever we're going through, it truly isn't. The one thing I got from Eshetu's set, which was hilarious, is that it truly isn't about us. We're here to help each other out. We're here to serve each other. And so like, I'm learning that like, I just had a meeting for a possible event that I'm going to do with Firsties. And I was telling the producer that like, hey, I just want to make sure everyone knows like, this is not the Mila show. This is a Firsties podcast. And my intention and my goal is to create content where people feel a little less alone. They feel seen, they feel heard. And, but this is not the Mila show. So, I just happen to be the host of the show and kind of have the creative direction. But for the most part, this is not, this is about the audience members. These are the people that, this is about the people that connect with this content, and feel seen and want to come on and talk about things that are important or bring awareness to things. And that's the same thing that I felt from Eshetu's show. And it was great that my mom was able to witness it as well. So he said a prayer, he got on his knees, kind of kissed the ground as well as us Habesha folks do. And it was really a sight to see, because it just reminded me that he's what I would deem as an audience member. I might be incorrect. He's at potentially the peak, or he's getting to the peak of his career. I know he's worked at it for many, many years. And for him to make it not about himself, even his set, he was talking about his experiences. I'm not going to share what, because it's his set, but it was really, really funny. But he always gave glory to God. And then he also was mentioning the foundation and saying like why we're here, why this is important. So I just love that he's using his platform to bring awareness and resources to the people that actually really, really need it, to giving voices to the people that should have it, but don't necessarily have voices. So that was the one thing that I noticed. I was like, why am I seeing this right now? This is pretty remarkable and amazing. And then my mom loved the show. If you guys saw her reaction in the beginning of this episode, again, guys, I really do recommend going to the YouTube to see it, and we'll also post it on our socials. But she really enjoyed herself. And to anyone who's listening, we talk about the first gen experience all the time. I do feel like this is probably going to be one of the episodes where I might get a little bit more vulnerable, which my therapist would appreciate. But growing up as a first gen in a Christian African household, there wasn't that much room for many things, honestly, but there wasn't that much room for what I saw for my parents, not for me, for my parents. There was not much room for like fun. I know that sounds like, wait, what, Mila? Like, what are you talking about? What I mean by that is everything that was prioritized was towards the children and education, getting us to that next level, right? From elementary school to middle school to high school to college, the next, the job, to, you know, moving out, all the like different milestones. And please hear me when I say I'm grateful for all the moments. I know that my privilege comes directly from the sacrifices that my parents and my family have made, and the prayers from all of my, older generation, and the support of my siblings and my cousins and stuff. I know that for sure. I try to start my day every day with gratitude, just to get through the day. I feel a little bit lighter every time I start the day with gratitude. So, little life tip there. But I noticed, I was thinking about it, that like going to the concert with, I think that might have been, honestly, I would say the first or second, or maybe even just tops third time, just play it safe, of me doing like a fun creative activity or going to a show with my mom. And I know that a lot of my cousins and people that are hearing this who come from first gens, whether you're from an Indian family or Hispanic family or Ethiopian family, just first gen in general, if you come from immigrants, all they know is hustle mentality. I know we talk about that a lot. All they know is hustle mentality. I truly like to be able, I know my girlfriend Lena spoke about this on an episode before, but like mental health and determining how you feel and being able to take some time to kind of download how you feel, and then being able to speak to someone about it. First of all, you have to have the resource for it. You also have to have the time and the mental capacity to even go there, really. So when she mentioned, my girlfriend Lena mentioned on an episode, like mental health and addressing mental health is a luxury, I completely agree with that. I know when you initially hear that, you're like, wait, what? How dare you? But think about it. The fact that I'm able to sit here and download how I'm feeling or how that made me feel or what I could do differently next time, that means what? I'm not on survival mode like my parents were, right? It's a luxury to be able to take a moment for yourself and download what you're feeling rather than having to go, and you're on survival mode. In other words, it goes back to psychology. It goes back to Maslow's law, where like my shelter's good, water, I'm a very blessed human being. I'm aware of that. And my safety is not compromised. So I'm able to think in my creative way. Because if I am, struggling for a meal, I'm probably not thinking about the thumbnail for this podcast, right? That's just how humans are. That's how these levels have to be met before we're able to kind of achieve to the next level. And I know it's not always linear. Everyone's experience is different. But yeah, growing up, because our parents are in survivor mode, I really do think like self-care and mental health, that's a luxury and a skill. Like you have to honestly understand it, but also know the vocabulary. Like I really do feel like sometimes our older generation immigrant parents and just the older generation of our family, they dealt with anxiety, they dealt with depression, they dealt with all these things, but they just didn't know that their nervous system is out of whack. So they didn't even have the vocabulary for it. So how are they able to kind of maneuver through that if they don't even have the vocabulary or the awareness to know that they're going through it? And so the reason why I say that is because my mom made a comment during the night that we saw Eshetu. When we were, in the Uber going back, she really enjoyed herself. She was dying laughing. And I think in that moment, she wasn't a mom, she wasn't a wife, she wasn't a daughter, she wasn't a sister. She was just a girl in an audience enjoying probably her most favorite entertainer at her favorite YouTuber. And so it reminded me that like, oh my God, like my mom, our parents, she's just a girl going through life like you are, Mila. And I know that sounds like so simple, but it's true. Like everyone right now, they're going through what they're going through for the first time. One, because our days are not repeated, right? Today is Thursday. We're never going to get this Thursday back, right? And so it was strange. It was almost interesting to see in her life because I rarely see it where she's able to like relax her shoulders and just enjoy herself. So that was nice that I was able to do that for her. But she made a comment, and this is what I want to talk about. She said that she really enjoyed herself. And the one thing that I have to say that I love my parents, that they're always just saying how proud they are of us and how much they love us. And I really love that we have that open communication. And anyone out there who maybe does not have that relationship with their parents yet, because I am always hopeful, there's hope that, that wasn't always the case. So I'm not going to put my family's business out there, but that wasn't always the case. So it's a privilege and an honor, really, that I have this kind of like key relationship with my mom now. I say that because truly at one point she was like a drill sergeant and just made sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. There wasn't really room left for like emotional conversations or anything like that. So I just love that she's like a girl's girl now, or she's we're girls now. But she mentioned in the Uber when we were going back that, but which, by the way, just really quickly, does anyone else's Habesha parents, like, tell me you're Habesha without being Habesha, like your parents are always backseat drivers. Like my mom gets in the Uber and she's questioning the guy's driving. We're talking, she's asking him, it was dead silence. And she goes, 4-cylinder or 2-cylinder? Like what? Like, why do you know what that is? First of all, second of all, wait, huh? And he answered too. The poor Uber driver answered, and they had a conversation about how fast the car is, how much gas it takes. It was hilarious. So Habesha people, they're for sure backstreet drivers through and through. Anyway, so while we were in the back seat going home, I asked her, I was like, did you have fun? I always ask someone who I'm with, like, I really, truly, one of my, like, things that just make things even more fun is that I just like to see people live life. So like watching my mom watch Eshetu was much more fun, even though Eshetu was amazing, than just watching the show. Seeing everyone laugh, cry, like literally bending over, dying laughing. It was really amazing to see. So I love that. Like one of my favorite things to do is just people watch. I just think people are so interesting and I'm always curious. Anyways, so she mentioned how she was really grateful for going to the show and that I was able to do that for her. And I got her front row seats and she had the whole, VIP experience. She loved it. And she said how she would have probably never went to the show. She was the one who told me about the show. This was like a couple weeks before Mother's Day. And she was like, oh yeah, like it was just in passing. Like she watches him every single day on YouTube. She was just like, oh yeah, like he's coming to DC. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're telling me that your favorite content creator, your favorite YouTuber, the person you watch every single day is getting on a plane, coming across the water to come see us, or to come to perform here, and you're not going to get tickets? Like literally it's online, we can get tickets. She's like, no, the price, or no, like she just was like, I would never think to spend that on myself. I'm like, this is what we were talking about earlier, right? That we need to be mindful of this, because I think as first gens, unsubconsciously and subconsciously, we are downloaded with this information or the way to do things, and that might necessarily not be the right or most healthiest thing to do for yourself. So I say that to say that, like, I want to be mindful of that like, hey, I want to leave room for self-care, for taking care of myself, for also having fun. I know how hard I work. I know how hard I grind, and I travel a lot for work, that if I don't leave room to spend time with my family, my friends, and just also myself, just doing things, going on a trip, going somewhere tropical, doing things, going to a comedy show, whatever I deem as fun, because I do think that definition of fun varies for every patient, for every client, or for every person. Sorry, I'm saying patient client because I'm still in work mode. We have to be mindful of that, because I definitely in my younger years was guilty of just like grind. And then I look back on my early 20s and I have no mistakes, but did I really leave room for more family, right? Because I really do not think when it's all said and done, I'm going to be thinking about my accomplishments or how hard I worked or how many hours I put in or how much sleep I didn't get. No, it's quite literally going to be, I wish I had more time with this person. I wish I had more time with my family and my friends. And so I don't want to have that regret. So leave room for fun. And I just think it's so interesting that my mom was able to vocalize like, yeah, if it wasn't for you getting the tickets, I just would have never, she literally said, it would never even come across my mind to get the tickets. Even though I know he's coming, I know the date, I know where it is. I just would have not gotten myself. So thank you for doing that. Mila. I was like, oh my God, of course. Like, I knew you wouldn't do it. So that's why I had to do it. I didn't even tell you. It's like, you're going, we're going. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. Should we go? I don't know. I'm like, girl, it's your favorite comedian. It's your favorite content creator. Let's go. And she enjoyed herself. It was a great time. So this was a little bit more of a shorter episode, but I definitely wanted to, anyone who's listening to this, who's first gen immigrant, or just a firstie, honestly, is leave room for yourself to grow, to explore. A lot of the amazing moments in my life just came from last minute plans with friends. I didn't really want to go out. I kind of wanted to stay home. I was like, no, okay, let me go bowling. Let me go to the movies. And I either met an opportunity or met someone really cool or just had a good time or a good laugh with some loved ones. Those are the moments that we're going to remember. And I really wish, I know in one of my favorite shows, The Office, that's why I am very big on like content creating and documenting a bunch. Like what you guys see is like a fraction of what I record. The reason why is because there's some content that is appropriate and I would love for you guys to engage with. And there's just some that's just for me and my own pleasure to watch later. But from The Office, there's a line that the character Andy says when he gets interviewed, and he said, I wish we knew we were in the good old days while we're still in them. And I think the whole point in life is to be present in the moment. But I wish that was the case, because we look back and we see like, 5 years ago, oh my God, like that was an amazing time. And so I like to document those moments, and it's best to be present, which is so tough to do. I struggle with it every single day. But be mindful of the moment you're living right now is probably what you prayed for yesterday or 5 years ago. So it would be best to just live in that present moment, because I'm learning every single day that the only thing that we have is the moment that we're in at that direct time. Nothing else. We don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes from now. We do not know what's going to happen 5 years from now. And life can get so real so quickly. So it's best to enjoy each other, explore, take risks. I know that's one thing I was, having a tough time with when I was younger. Love one another, truly try to serve with one another, and leave room for fun. Like, you guys are getting to know me a lot on this podcast. I am the queen of kiki. I just want to kiki. Let's get into it. Let's get into it truly. So leave room for fun, and self-care and taking care of yourself, however that looks, truly. All right, guys, we are back. I want to do kind of like a recap. I know we've doing this episode, we're doing a recap of the Eshetu show as well, but I want to do a recap of our social media. So maybe we'll call this the Firsties Corner. I know we've talked about this before. Also, did not close my blinds here, so the lighting might be changing in this episode if you're watching on YouTube. But my good friend Binyam, he came on the show. He's a comedian and a writer and content creator. And he came on and said this. I might try to tag the clip here, or I also might add the video on this episode. But he essentially said that we should treat marriage like NBA contracts. Every 4 years, we can renew, or you can be a free agent. Now, just to recap, the comment section on this clip on our Instagram, I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of comments. It's majority men saying the most ridiculous stuff, and they're basically saying like, oh yeah, women got tightened up, this is going to tighten her up, she won't take me for granted, blah blah blah, this is a genius idea. And I would argue that it would appear that this kind of renewal of marriage would benefit the man mostly. But when I was with some of my coworkers, some of my girlfriends this past weekend, and I showed them the clip, and it was like, they were like, oh yeah, you'd be surprised, like plot twist, that probably women would not renew once they see what their marriage entails. Now I'm not saying that for every marriage out there, but I just think it's an interesting conversation to have. So please, in the comments, women, please come to the comments and share your opinion on NBA contracts for we should treat marriage like NBA contracts. Every 4 years we renew. I just love in the comments also, some people are like, what about the kids? I'm like, point made. And on that discussion, I also want to kind of discuss relationships and dating. I always think that's always a fun topic on this podcast. And I just think we're also quick to like separate ourselves from each other. I'm talking about like men and women. Even in that in the clip I was talking about, it's very much divided between the few women who've commented, and then all the men who's commented. And I think we'd better use our time if we just came at it. Again, take this with a grain of salt. I've never been married, but came at it from the point of like the goal is partnership with each other, rather than just like and serving one another, rather than like what you're going to do for me and what I'm going to do for you. I think that might be the mistake that a lot of us are making, is that we go into relationships like, oh, this person's going to fix me. They're going to fix my childhood trauma. They're going to give me everything that I need. They're going to act this way. They're going to do these things for me. And I'm understanding from people who've shared this with me that it's much more than that. I think if we come at it, Chris Rock, he had a joke. He said in his set on his Netflix special that when you're in a relationship or in marriage, you're in the service industry. The whole point is to serve one another. But if you're coming as like what this person can do for me, you've already lost. So please comment below what you guys think about that, because this comment section is going crazy and I had to say something. And if you're really, really watching every episode, and if you're really a firstie, you'll notice that episode came out. Then right after, I had a For the Girls podcast, because I just need to balance out. I need to balance out the masculine energy. The comment section was kind of terrifying me. The DMs that I was getting, I was like, this is a lot. I'm not sure why it's just only engaging with the male demographic. I'm happy you guys are here. Please stay. But I want my girlies to come out too and share their opinion, and let's debate and have an enriched conversation so we can learn and grow with one another. It's also quite literally hilarious. So please, guys, comment down below any questions or any topics that you guys want to talk about. I'm happy to bring them on the podcast. So we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with these short messages. So I hope you guys really heard me in this podcast. Please comment down below what you guys think. I really enjoy doing this. I travel quite a bit of work, so I'm sorry if I sound like a man for this episode. I think the traveling is getting to me. And also, please make sure you follow Firstie's Pod. That's Firstie's Pod everywhere for short clips and behind the scenes. And we go in on the comments, so make sure to do that. And then also, comment down below guests that you guys want to see, and also topics that you guys would like to hear. It is the first gen experience that we always talk about, but also the firsties experience. So if you're the first in your family to do absolutely anything, not just because you're first gen, but just you're the first, I'm more than happy to connect with you, as well as possibly get you on the podcast as well. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, viewing, subscribing, doing all the things. I also am going to start vlogging as well. I did a couple vlogging this past weekend, so I'll be coming out soon as well. So comment down below anything that you guys want to see, and we will see you in our next episode. Take care, guys.